Hey, what's up? Well, if this gets posted around Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'm thinking of doing just that, even though it's not quite Christmas just yet. Might post it to come out on Christmas Day. So, I want this video to end with an unboxing of something that should be coming in either today or Christmas Eve, but hopefully today. December the 23rd. I've never been able to accept a package this close to Christmas Day, ever, because I've always been at my mom's house, and so I couldn't order stuff around Christmas. And if something came in this close to Christmas, well, I just had to wait to open it in January or February, whenever I got back. And I've left so much fake feedback, meaning you pretend like you have the item because you know it's delivered from the tracking number. So you pretend like you're just so thrilled with the item and just say, leave something generic like very pleased with, this experience, very pleased with the shipping or whatever. Just say that it came in faster than expected, even if that's not exactly true. It's just a way to leave positive feedback, because you can't wait 2 months to leave feedback on an item, even though it took 2 months for me to get back and open my packages. So anyway, enough about the packages. I just want to talk briefly while I have a moment, and just want to say that I could not be more thrilled with how my song came out.
Veruca Salt had a heart of stone, thought she was a princess sitting on her throne. But fate had a very different plan in store, as she found herself on Mr. Wonka's trash room floor. If Veruca Salt got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very, very bad. If Mike got a cold, he would just watch TV some more. If Augustus got a cold, he simply wouldn't know what for. If Violet caught it, she would just chew cinnamon gum. If Charlie got it, his life would be slightly less fun. But if Veruca got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very bad. The trash was filled with lots of germs and scary roaches, bugs, and worms. Some was rotten food, all spoiled and old. And the next day, Veruca Salt caught a cold. If Veruca Salt got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very, very bad. If Mike got a cold, he would just watch TV some more. If Augustus got a cold, he simply wouldn't know what for. If Violet caught it, she would just chew spearmint and gum. If Charlie got it, his life would be slightly less fun. But if Veruca got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very bad. She thought her world was ending and could barely speak. She got chilled to the bone and was feeling weak. No longer in control and no longer on top, Veruca Salt was humbled by the trash heap flop. If Veruca Salt got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very, very bad. If Mike got a cold, he would just watch TV some more. If Augustus got a cold, he simply wouldn't know what for. If Violet caught it, she would just chew peppermint gum. If Charlie got it, his life would be slightly less fun. But if Veruca got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very bad. If Veruca Salt got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very, very bad. If Mike got a cold, he would just watch TV some more. If Augustus got a cold, he simply wouldn't know what for. If Violet caught it, she would just chew liniment gum. If Charlie got it, life would just be slightly less fun. But if Veruca got a cold, she'd be very sad. It would be a big big deal to her and very, very bad. If Veruca got a cold, she'd be very mad. It would be a big deal to her and very, very bad.
And it's just basically me projecting myself onto Veruca Salt, a character that I've always, one of the many characters. I guess on that show I also like the other antagonists, Mike TV and Augustus Gloop, and to a lesser extent Violet. I like the antagonists for some reason. I relate to them better than I do Charlie. So, my greatest Christmas present to myself was that song. And I just want to talk about, I guess I could title this video Unboxing and Not Celebrating Christmas. Because, let's face it, it ain't much of a Christmas without my mom. And I just want to briefly say that in this video that the magic of Christmas through the eyes of a child. I've heard that stupidity, several places, that you should have kids because there's nothing like Christmas through the eyes of a little child. It'll probably get you sick around the same time of year. Well, Christmas is not a good enough reason for me to have kids. Now, as I've stated before, I just cannot help but see the direct correlation between being around children and also, having colds, especially around Christmas. Because I find that not only did the colds decrease around the time that I stopped being around young children, not only did the colds decrease in general and stop happening altogether in the summer, Christmas became just another time of year as far as my likelihood of getting them. There was a time when I used to have peaks, like at the beginnings and ends of the semesters, both spring and fall. So basically, 7th grade was a perfect example of this. August, November, January, May. Like during all 4 seasons, I would get a cold. And my mom doesn't care to remember this, but it's the truth. I would get one, toward the beginning of the school year, within the first couple months, August, September, because I'd be introduced to new germs of new kids. Then I'd get one as the weather cooled down, November or December, between Thanksgiving and the Christmas break. Because, there'd be another wave of people going places and doing Christmas activities and getting exposed to germs more than any other time of year. Then I'd have another peak right after I'd come back. The coldest part of the year, like January and February. And then there'd be another peak somewhere between spring break or Easter and the end of the school year, like in 97. There'd be 4 main peaks for the 4 seasons. And of course, seasonal changes make it difficult to know how to prepare for, each day as the season changes. So anyway, so as I got older and I stopped being around children in school, 2 of those peaks were eliminated altogether. The beginning and end of the school year, August and May. And, or really it's late April, not so much May. May is only included because it's still clearly springtime, at least halfway through. So the beginning and end of the school year, once I got to be older, were no longer a time when I got sick. So that left me with pretty much only the middle of the school year when it was colder outside. And I would only get one cold during, at some random time, never the same month, 2 years in a row, hardly ever. But just, like if I got one cold in late fall, I didn't also get it in the winter and spring. If I got it in the winter, that meant I didn't have one in the spring or fall. And then I didn't even have any more in the spring as I got past 30. And so not only did they decrease in number, they decreased in window of time that I got them, and there were no longer these peaks like around Christmas. Christmas became just another time of year when I could possibly get one, though probably wouldn't most of the time. All but the ages of 20, 25, and 36, I didn't as an adult. But before that, it was pretty much every single year. So go figure. Before I turned 18, it was pretty much every single year around the holidays. So, and I know for sure, I know beyond any shadow of a doubt, that I had at least 50 colds during my second decade of life. Because I know that in my teens, I had exactly 35, 13 through 19. And ages 11 and 12, I had a total of a dozen. So that brings it to 47. And if I'm wrong in the direction of having had more that I don't remember, not less. And so at age 10, I vividly, distinctively remember having at least one at some point in the fall, October or November, can't remember which month, at least one around Christmas, and at least one in January or February after coming back from Christmas, and probably at least one or two more near the beginning and end of 4th grade at age 10. Because I missed 10 days of school, and they couldn't have all been stomach aches and I overslept days. You know. So anyway, I had at least 3. Well, certainly I never had less than 4, because 7th grade remained my minimum until my senior year, when I only had 3. So it's just so odd, because it's like I was averaging about at least 5.1 per year in my second decade of life, which was only 3,652 days because of how the leap year fell. Because I was less than a year old on my first leap day. The decades with an even number in the tens place at 3,653 days. And those with an odd number in the tens place, like my teens and my 30s, 3,652. Whereas my sister is the other way around, because she was almost 4 on her first leap day. She missed it because my mom was pregnant on a leap day for her in 92. And so yeah, it's like I had 5.1 or more colds in my second decade of life, ages 10 through 19. That was only 3,652 days. And then my 20s were 3,653 days. But I had 15 colds, so that's 1.5. So I guess it's the inverse divided by 10, the inverse of each number. 51 in my second decade, 15 in my third decade, which is my 20s. Then only 7 clinical respiratory infections, including COVID, in my 30s. So about half as many. Yep. And then in my 40s, 1 thus far, for sure. And so, yeah. I mean, I'm living proof that unless you go through, periods of time because you have kids or you get really stressed out, overall, they just decrease throughout the lifespan. And that's normal. And I just feel very privileged to have been able to see that, because I didn't have any kids, to see just how quickly they can decrease once you get to adulthood. And it can stay that way as long as you don't have any kids. So I'll go ahead with the unboxing whenever my package comes in. What's up, guys? Well, here I am, ready to do my first ever Christmas Eve and or Christmas Day unboxing. Oh my gosh, this is a first. I have never ever been able to do an unboxing on Christmas Eve and or Christmas Day. So here it goes. I'm not going to show you the box because that would show you my address. But I got a deal on this one item. And what makes him very special indeed, is he is a yet another Skipper-sized boy doll. And what he's supposed to be is like a knockoff of the Sunshine Family dad. Hopefully he won't get gooey. He's like hollow. Very rare. But he's 9 inches. And because he doesn't have those gooey eyes that I don't like, those gemstone eyes. Hopefully they won't melt in his head. But I don't see him as a dad at all. I see him as a somewhat effeminate or immature looking pre-adolescent boy of the 70s. And being only 9 inches tall, that would put him kind of in the 4.5 foot range in the Barbie world. Kind of needs a haircut, but in the 70s that was normal. And so he could easily go with Kathy. Remember from February, Kathy? Instead of the Superman guy that I thought I'd never get from Piece of Chicago, Illinois. So instead of Dad, which is a really stupid name, he was supposed to be a dad, I'll have to come up with a more creative name. You know, Kathy, and what else could he be named instead of Dad? Maybe Dave or something like that. Dade. Who knows? But his pants don't fit him properly. But there you have it. So I think I'm going to wrap this box in Christmas paper. And that'll be my one gift to open, since my actual dad didn't buy me anything. But he doesn't look like a dad. I mean, I look at his face and I cannot hear an adult male voice. And that's why I like him. You know, he's a rare brown-eyed doll. You know, they rarely made dolls with brown eyes, obviously, because they don't sell. So yeah, he looks less masculine than I do. And so there's, I guess I could, I don't know what I could call him. Maybe Davis, you know, it'd be different than David. But there's my boy doll from the 70s, vintage, cheap knockoff of the Sunshine Family dad. But I don't want to use him as a dad. I want him to be a boy. You know, here's Ken, and here's this little guy. And his shirt would almost need to be repaired because it's coming apart. But that's not really my main concern. He doesn't have any shoes, but I could put him in Ken's shoes if I wanted to. So there you have it, a cute little 9.5 inch boy. They just, you know, I just really wish, you know, I really wish that they didn't worry so much about what's going to sell, and would have just made, you know, continuously a standard 7.5 inch and 9.5 inch boy doll and girl doll. So that if you needed such dolls, you could have them. So, you know, I just couldn't pass up the offer that I got on him. But, you know, there's my unboxing. And I just want to close with Merry Christmas. And I hope you enjoy the rest of my Christmassy videos.